Hey, okay. So we got this guy Kenny, who I know
Hey,
happens to call you. Y'all go Lagunitas. This is the Lagunitas and the champagne of Mississippi.
I hadn't had one of these in a while, and I just happened to buy a six pack a couple days ago, and I say, "Oh shit, I'm gonna talk to Spike." How appropriate.
How random is that, man?
Yep,
My favorite beer of all time, man.
I love it.
Lagunitas IPA. I think it's the nostalgia. And
You
that's another
introduced
thing
me.
we did.
You
We went to
introduced me to it.
Lagunitas
I
and we
know.
had a drink of Lagunitas IPA, the real town, not Petaluma where they make it.
Yeah, yeah, the real town.
And
Mm.
then we actually that trip, that particular
Hollis.
trip, we when you were this, that was the same Chardonnay Sessions trip.
Yeah,
That's when
you're
we
right.
realized you're taking a Twix means you're taking a shit.
That's right. I told Emily that the other night. She's like,
It makes sense though, right?
"Yeah, it does, man." It was classic. Yeah,
So
so
anyway,
Kenny says, "Hey man, I'm going to this gig." And it's funny because Emily and Kenny's some of their interests I didn't know at the time kind of intersect. So she was going to this gig and I was like, "Oh, okay." And Kenny says, "Hey man, I'm going to this gig." And lo and behold, it's the same fucking gig. And it's not like it was, this is Williamsburg, Brooklyn. It's not like a proper music venue, but there were a decent amount of people there. So it's not like I walked in and there are like 12 people and Emily's like, "Oh shit." Emily actually didn't know I was there until months later and I told her. But I just thought, "Oh my God, I just saw this chick for a couple of drinks. She's going on her night with some friends." I show up and I'm like, "Oh God." And now I look like a fucking stalker, right? And this is coming off the heels
I
of
know.
like
I know where it's coming off of.
So I told Kenny, "Hey, let's stand in the back." And the thing is, at some point, I could see Emily up there. Like I'm watching her, and I feel like, "Oh, is this a video for police?" As in, "I'll be watching you."
Oh, I was gonna say for the real police that are like,
Yeah,
there's the
I know,
stalker. He's
I
found somebody
know,
else.
I know, man. So I was kind of like, I was like, "Oh my God, I can't fucking believe this." So anyhow, the gig ended. I hung back long enough for Emily and her friends to depart, and then Kenny and I went out after and drank some beers. And I told him, I was like, "Dude, I just fucking went out with this chick. I can't be fucking like." Normally, I wouldn't have really thought that much about it, but given what had happened recently, I was just paranoid. But anyhow,
Yeah.
that's all to say, we met up that one time for that, having a couple drinks, and then eventually, I think we set up like man, like a second date, and we actually went to this place down kind of like it was like this cool Asian joint, man, like cheap but really good place that I think Emily knew about. And we went there and had, got something to eat after work, drank a couple beers, and then eventually it was like it was the summertime, so we had like a half day Friday. So me, Emily, and some coworkers went out for drinks. I mean, like we went out to drink like in the afternoon, like we left work and drank all afternoon at the library in fucking East Village, which used to be a cool bar. And she wanted to see this movie called Snowpiercer. So, man, I go in there fucking lit up like a Christmas tree watching this movie. And and then after that, I kept trying to get her to like go out on a fucking date like at night on a weekend. And she kept wanting to hang out with like me, her, and like our friend Vincent from work and blah blah. Because I'm trying to like get it going on, And then finally, it was funny because she was the one who was kind of pursuing me, but once I was trying to get the ball rolling, to hook it up, then she kind of was pulling back a little bit. Anyhow, that's all to say. One thing leads to another. We finally go on a date on a fucking weekend, like a Friday. This is funny. We went out after work. We went to this place called Heavy Woods, which has this like New Orleans chef. Like we're drinking cheap fucking Miller High Lifes, eating good New Orleans food. And then we go to this other bar, man, man, I got fucking drunk. And I'll never forget. I go to the fucking bathroom, and when I come back, some motherfucker's trying to talk to Emily. And as I'm walking toward her, I see this dude, and he was fucking shit faced. Like I was drunk. Like I'm gonna beat the shit out of you drunk. This guy was like sloppy. Like I could push him over with a finger. And so, but I see this dude like trying to get up on Emily. I'm like, and Emily said, "I saw your face," and I just saw like there was like a shift. Like a whole different whoop ass Eddie just came out of the closet, man. And so I go over there and say some shit to that
You don't
guy,
want to
and
fuck. First off, you don't want to fuck with whoop ass Eddie.
I was ready, and I felt like I could take this guy. And anyhow, Emily just said she could just see, like I was out having a good time, whatever. And she just said, I just saw like immediately, you saw me, you saw that guy, and just there was this immediate shift in your demeanor, just like it was all business at that point. And I walked right up that guy and said some shit, blah blah, whatever. And then he fucking backed off. Anyhow, so there was that. And then eventually after that, I was still kind of like trying to, I don't know. I just
Hey,
remember,
whenever she said that to you, was it that night she said it, or was it later on in y'all's
no,
relationship that
no,
she
dude.
brought
It
it
was
up?
like she said it that night. I said, "You damn right you did." So, but I'm trying to think if that happened first, because eventually I kept feeling like I was trying to get something going on with her, and then I don't know, man. She kept like holding back. And I can't remember if that happened first when I finally got her to go on a proper date, like on a weekend, or if it was this other thing happened where I was hanging out with our friend Vincent and his wife in Harlem, and she was out doing something. And finally we met up at Peter McManus, which I've taken you to, right? No.
Vincent, is that two drink Vincent?
Yeah, two Manhattan Stanley. You hung out with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But his
yeah.
name's Vincent?
Yeah, his name's Vincent Stanley. Yeah,
Okay, boom.
cool guy. Yeah, you hung
Remember.
out.
And
We
and
we
and we
took you
did
to
eat,
we
we
took you.
did
Yeah,
drink at that place you're talking about.
well, no, we drank at Dublin House, which is a cool Irish pub, but I don't know if we went to Beer McManus, which was kind of more downtown. But
Oh no, we didn't. We
yeah,
stayed
so
within the yeah.
close by. That's right. Well, anyhow, I was able to meet up with Emily at Peter McManus, and we had some drinks, and eventually we made our way to Union Square, and she was going to go home, and I was going to go home, and then that's the first time we kissed was at Union Square that night before we got on the subway
Not a
or into
bad
the
place to have your first kiss.
yeah. So that was cool. And then after that, finally, that might have been when it's like, okay, now we're actually dating. Uh,
Did y'all actually talk about it's like, okay, we're going to be exclusive, or did it just
we
happen?
did. No, no, we did eventually. I think because we started, man, when the fuck was that? Oh, you know what? Her birthday's in August, and I remember we were still talking then. I feel like this was sometime late summer, early fall. Maybe it might have been
She may be the
September.
least egotistical. Of course, I don't know her as well as you, but she may be the least egotistical Leo I've ever met.
Yeah, but she does like attention. I'll say that.
She does it in a weird way, like in the back.
Yeah,
It's like,
I don't know. Yeah,
somebody give me a compliment.
yeah, yeah. Or if you do, she fucking loves it. But I was gonna say, I don't know where I'm
I'm
going with
sorry.
that.
It was about
No,
y'all's
not
like
no, but I was trying to think like when it clicked that we're like, okay, but that's all to say. The way we met was at work. I was hesitant because of my recent dating past, especially with women at work. Then she asked me out. We went out. Then I was try. Oh, sorry. I know what I was going to say. At some point, Vincent and his wife had me and Emily over for dinner and some other people. It was like a little dinner party. And that night, Emily said something, especially now that I know her so well, is she was so fucking full of shit. She said, I'm a lone wolf. And that's when I was really gunning, trying to date her. You know, I was
she's
like,
like Zach Galifianakis.
she's so full. Yeah, dude, if you know Emily at all, if anybody's a lone wolf, I'm the fucking lone wolf, right? But she said it. And I'm like, but I understood because when she met me, she had just broken up with a long-term boyfriend who she lived with. So she was trying to like start her life afresh, wanted to date and blah, blah, blah. But then she saw me. Oh, the screen just froze up, man. I don't know if I lost
That's
you.
all right. I can still hear your voice. It'll come back.
You there?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Spike. Spike.
Eddie.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Eddie.
I saw you
She's a
doing like a,
lone wolf.
Yeah.
You know, of
So
all places, I would want to live if I had to leave somebody that I was been living with for a while. I'd say New York. It's better than Starkville.
uh yeah,
Hell,
so
Nashville's better than it.
I was gonna say, yeah. So that's all to say. There was like this back and forth where at some point I was really wanting to get things going, and she was kind of holding back, which I understand because I felt like she just got out of a serious relationship, several years, and lived with the motherfucker. So she finally broke away from this guy. It was things went really bad, and not her fault. That dude was kind of fucked up. So, but then she was also attracted to me. So I don't know if she was thinking like, oh, I just want to hook up with this guy, but I don't want to get serious, blah, blah. So I'm trying to pursue her. And she tells me this shit like, oh, I'm a lone wolf. Now, after the fact, after, however many months later, I told her, I was like, you were so full of shit, the lone wolf. You're like the opposite of a lone wolf. I'm the actual lone wolf. But I was pursuing her, right? So that night I got really drunk and so upset because the next day Vincent and I were all supposed to go hang out, go to the flea market, do this. I got so upset that night because she went to bed and then because we weren't like together, you know what I mean? We
Mm.
were like barely dating at that point. So she was in her own room. I was sleeping somewhere else. So Vincent and I stayed up listening to records and drinking. And man, I start like getting drunk. I'm crying and all this shit. I was like, man, I fucking like this girl, blah, blah, blah. And I said, fuck it. I just left in the middle of the night and went home. So the next morning, Emily was like, whoa, where's Eddie? So I was lying in bed, hungover, and she called me and almost because at that moment I thought, man, this is over. I'm not getting caught up in this shit. I'm not going to go crazy like I did in the past. Just whatever, just let it be. Let her do her own thing, whatever. But then when I wasn't there, I think she got worried because she actually did like me. So then she called me. I almost didn't answer the phone, but I did, and then we talked. And then from then on, it kind of slowly, slowly, slowly turned into a relationship. And then,
Do you
by
think
the,
that was like, what is litmus test? It's like, I'm
oh,
gonna test
litmus
this out.
test. And you know
Was
what? The
come on, drink
litmus
that. You can do it and answer my question because I'm not sure what it means.
Oh, a litmus test is kind of well, it's all based on chemistry. The litmus test tells you if something's an acid or a base. So the litmus test, people, I mean, it's kind of a cliche, especially in political terms. People say, oh, the litmus
Well, fuck
test is
politics.
like you say,
I
oh, the
think that was a
litmus
little
test
bit of a
is, oh, is
litmus
this
test with
politician
y'all's
pro-choice
chemistry.
or, you know, or pro-life or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, oh, the litmus test is, oh, do they pass this? They qualify for whatever, you know what I'm saying?
See, I guess the reason I brought that up is I knew what it meant, and that was y'all's litmus test and y'all's chemistry in the relationship.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was kind
Yeah.
of like she asked me out. I was resisting. And then when I finally kind of felt like, okay, then I started pursuing, then she kind of pulled back. And then eventually, after that whole thing at Vincent's house, then we started to and the thing is, we didn't sleep together for 3 months, which was on purpose. I did that on purpose because I felt like, man, I can't trust myself if I start fucking some chick. Um, so, but then by December, it was Kenny fucking Filmer's birthday, 40th birthday party, right? Because when I met Emily, she was 29, I was 39,
Hey, do you
right?
mind passing me that IPA? Do you mind doing it? Other side. Keep going. Ah, thanks.
Yeah, son.
That's stupid. There's a whole Weezer
I lo
video during COVID that where they
oh
do that
yeah.
shit.
I love
Anyway,
some
our
Weezer.
things are reversed. We're reversed.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, Kenny's
But
turning
that
40.
yeah, so Kenny's turning 40 and I'll never forget this, man. He had the Kenny. You should go up to New York and hang out with Kenny, man. He was asked. I talked to him on the phone recently. He was asking me about you. He said, "Hey, man, have you talked to Spike recently?" And I said, "Yeah, man. I'm supposed to do a thing with him, like a YouTube channel thing." And I said he told me he's got his own place now. I told him I said he
Yeah.
was living, you know. So I talked to him last
Hey,
week, and
hey, if you don't mind, shoot me Kenny's email or whatever. I think I have his actually I have his I think I have his phone number, but I would love to do something like this with Kenny
yeah,
because
Kenny,
I
he'd
ain't
be
seen
up
him in
for it.
ages.
Yeah,
If
he'd
it
be
was
up for it.
your, yeah, I know he would. he and I got a weird past that I would like to remember. Not a weird
Yeah.
past. I mean, hell, we were
Yeah.
in some weird fucking band, and
Oh, I know. He tells
uh,
some good stories, man, about hanging out with you back in the early days, you know.
I don't
Um,
know. I mean, I was an asshole back then, but whatever. I'm still an asshole,
hey
but I'm
dude,
a
you're
loving asshole, and I care about people. Uh,
yeah, so Kenny felt this will be the end of this story in true Eddie
this is about it.
fashion.
Oh, Kenny.
I've
Okay, go
gone
ahead.
all nooks and crannies, but that
Oh,
night,
Eddie, you've never done that ever.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The nooks and crannies.
Well,
That's your biography.
well,
Nooks and crannies.
you pulled an Eddie on me when because I'm known to go on tangents, and so you started me on Emily's story. Then you asked me about my brother. Then you asked about something else. So it was like bam, bam, bam. I was like, damn, this is like me telling a story.
That's true, but I'm asking questions, and that's my fault.
And then I
Anyway,
wonder, does Spike have these questions written down, or are they just coming, like that?
no, I just go at it.
Yeah.
What pops in my
So,
head? I ain't got no questions written down
but
at
yeah,
all.
this is the short answer to your story, your question would have been, oh, Emily and I met at work. She was interested, asked me out on a date. I was hesitant. Then we started to go on dates. Then she pulled back, and then one thing led to another, and then we eventually dated. But I like to throw in a little special sauce, a little extra something, something. But
A little
but at
something
the
something led to papoose.
that's right. But at the very end, we were at Kenny had a he just Kenny's lives still lives in the same apartment. That's what I'm saying. So he lives in this cool apartment up in Washington Heights, and he was having a big party. We're all like, hanging out, and then there used to be this cool bar called Reynolds around the corner. So we went over there, man. We're just getting drunk as shit. We took over the fucking bar. We took over the jukebox. And I remember talking to my friend Vincent, and I said something to him like, "Man, I think I could fucking marry this girl," talking about Emily. And then I don't know if Emily has fucking super hearing or she just sensed it, but we get in a cab to go back to my place that night, and she said, "Oh, I think you want to marry me or some shit like that." I'm like, "What? What the fuck are you talking about?" So anyhow, then of course, 6 months later, after we dated for a year, I was like, "Oh fuck, man, I don't know if I can do this." So it took a while to get back to that point, but then we got married. And now we got the poos.
That was
We started dating in
5 years ago, I believe. You called me when you said, "Yo, you." I don't know if you'd already asked her to marry you or not, or something like that.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was up near a
Yeah.
lake on a pier or something. I could be wrong, and uh,
Yeah.
Ohio, somewhere around there.
Our five
Uh,
anniversary our fifth anniversary was in September. So I
that's what I
spoke to
thought.
you that summer because we met, here's the deal. We met in 2014. I proposed in 2018. We got married in 2019. And
Yeah,
then we had a
because
baby in
we
2000.
had just moved to St. Augustine whenever you called, and I remember just walking around well, I say the house. It was a huge house, but um, it was one of Kelly's family's house. But just walking around the yard, and you were telling me about it. I don't even wait. I think you were telling me how you were going to propose to her, not that you proposed to
No,
her.
I think I was calling you about you and Dennis doing the Beach Boys song.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
Which
then I
nobody
ended
can
up,
do.
yeah,
Nobody
and
can
then
do.
even Dennis said, man, they make it seem simple, but it's actually extremely complicated. And
Yeah.
but then that's when I asked you to read the poem at the wedding.
God damn. That's one thing well, I don't regret it. I mean, we had a massive category 5 hurricane coming
Hey
towards
man,
us.
I don't want
And
fucking excuses. No.
oh, there ain't no excuse. I mean,
No, just fuck.
Mother Nature's like, fuck this.
No,
But yeah, it was pretty
I just
fucking
fucking
scary.
around. No, I know.
Yeah. I do like it was either you or Kenny sent a picture of like my
Oh,
nameplate.
yeah, I think it was
Right.
because
And you had me sitting next to Kenny, or I don't know, I can't
yeah,
remember.
it was right there. Dennis and Jonathan, you were down there with the whole crew, faux fry. And yeah,
Yeah.
somebody took a picture of it because we left it there. I'm like, we're leaving it here, you
I
know?
still
Yeah.
have, in fact, still have. Not pretty rid of it, but I keep it close.
Oh,
I'm
the
not going to bring out
postcards.
the shot glasses that came with it, but
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, because
That's
that
my
was
shit, man.
yeah,
It's like
because that
right
was
there in my little
because
anyway.
yeah,
So
you, Kenny, Scott, Jonathan, and Pete all got that. Yeah.
Dennis
I
didn't
mean,
get nothing.
well, no, because in truth, I would have loved for the whole faux fry to be up. I wanted my original idea was for the whole faux fry to be up there for groomsmen, but Emily only wanted to have three. She only had three, so I had to limit it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
three's the perfect number.
So, and then I realized after the fact, I needed some people in the fucking stands, as you'd say.
In the stands.
Yeah, in the pews. Because it was
Oh yeah,
you
because you're
can't
a
have
heathen.
everybody. Yeah,
No.
because it's not like, I mean, all my friends were there, very little family, and it's opposite for Emily. It's like mostly family and then some friends. But, but it was the church where her grandfather was a preacher, right?
Minister.
Minister, yeah,
Yeah.
minister for the Presbyterian. As her dad says, the frozen chosen.
I don't know what that means, but it cracks me up.
You're never going to hear like an amen up in there. It's all
Oh,
like,
okay. It's like,
yeah.
yeah.
They say the frozen chosen because they're
Well,
so like meek and
Presbyterians, Episcopalians, and Methodists are all very similar. It's like
yeah, yeah,
we're good.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
we'll hear it. Amen. Let's go watch some football.
yeah. Because there's actually a drink, a cocktail called a Presbyterian.
Really?
Yeah, there is. I forget what's in it, but there is. Just so
Well,
you
I'll
know,
Google it later.
this is my very first koozie, which I got on a Green Tortoise trip. It says "Keep your cool" with
South Dakota.
with the buffalo on it.
Hey,
Yeah.
man.
So
I want to say something to you. Okay, there's several things I want to say something to you that we always get around like everybody. It's always a group for some reason, and there's not much of a chance really to like talk one on one. Does that make sense?
yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
I mean, we always had like, which was cool, is like when you'd come out and visit me in Oakland or you came to Maine, and like I guess those are only two places where it was kind of one on one, but it
Yeah.
like
And
it was
Starkville
just
that one
fun,
time.
huh?
Starkville once. Remember
Really? Oh
when I
yeah,
took
yeah, yeah.
when you first met Emily?
Yeah, that's when you brought Emily down, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then at some
Yeah.
point at the night, it was just me and you.
Oh yeah, it was totally.
But yeah, but I'm saying as always, but yeah, for sure, Maine and Oakland. And I came out to Oakland. I came out specifically to see you, but then there were times when I came out for a tourist trip, but I made time to either like hang with you at the beginning or the end or both, really.
Yeah, the first tortoise trip, you didn't have a cell phone, so you had to call through a I don't know, one of those other phones, and I got you shit faced. We went to Jack London Square,
Oh yeah. The
and
bartender was from
then you had to
Hattiesburg.
go and get on the bus, and
Yep.
I didn't mean to get you shit faced. We just had a good time.
Hey, it
Lagunitas
was,
IPA flowed, uh, and
oh,
that was
that's a
fun.
great,
And then the
that,
Chardonnay sessions is actually when you came out just to visit.
yep, yep.
That was a good time. But my whole point is like like I don't know. You've done a lot of things that that have meant something to me, like in some small little stupid way, and we never really had a chance because we're always in a group of folks, and everybody's trying to get each other's attention,
Oh
if that
yeah.
makes sense.
It's the
That's what
whirlwind.
the faux fry does. And the fact that you even asked me to read at your wedding, which I would have loved to have done, that kind of means a lot to me because, and every time, like when people get wed, at that particular point in their life, that's when they're inviting people that are important to them, if
Oh
that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Like now you probably wouldn't invite me at all, but back then it's like you asked me to come and read something, and I would have loved to have done that, and I hate I missed that opportunity. But anyway, I just want to let you know how much that meant to me, and you could ask Kelly as well. Well, if there was an opportunity for you to ask Kelly, you would also know how like frustrated. both of us were, but me especially about not being able to make it. So I feel fuck you, Mother Nature.
Oh, I know,
Mother
man. I
Nature,
mean,
Father Time, and that's about it. Who
yeah,
gives a
those
shit
mother,
about environmentalism?
yeah,
I mean, we're just like we're like what a little piece of like a little sand piece, a little piece of
yeah,
sand, and all
I
of this
know,
bullshit. You know,
I know.
they'll always win. We're just here being idiots.
I was like, I can't fucking believe this shit. Although it was September, so it's high hurricane season, but I
Oh,
was like, motherfucker. When I was looking at it, I thought it was gonna like either stay out there, stall, or like go up to South Carolina. And I was
it
like, oh,
squatted on the Bahamas as a Cat 5, and it just squatted 0 miles an hour from there. And
it's
then,
the most tropical Cleveland steamer I've ever witnessed.
hey, me, yeah, and that's exactly what it was, man. And then my boss, who had been there, said, like, like, if you're in the Gulf Coast, you know that the fucking, it's going to hit if a hurricane
Oh
comes
yeah.
through the
Yeah.
Gulf. The Atlantic, you have fucking no clue.
Oh yeah.
Because
Because
my
if it's the
boss is
Gulf
like,
Coast, it's kind of like pinball, right? It's just
oh, yeah, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And then like the Atlantic, you have no idea. My boss is like Atlantic coast hurricanes are like having a scared turtle follow you and you're being chased by it, but you have no idea
yeah.
what you're running from. But it
Yeah.
destroyed, even though it never came through, it destroyed. We lived on the beach. So like we were on the beach and it destroyed the road where we were
Yeah.
living. And so we were off the probably a week and a half, 2 weeks. It was definitely a week at least where we couldn't
I
get back to our place. So anyway, shut the fuck up, Spike. Here's what I'm saying is I just appreciate you uh asking me to, you know, speak a little bit from
well,
a poet of yours that you enjoyed and I was unable to do that and I feel horrible about it, but
well,
Mother Nature.
yeah, I mean, I would have loved for you to done it, and I hated that you weren't there, but obviously I understand because all that bullshit. The funny thing is, it would have been you and Kenny because Kenny recited or read another poem, you know? You were going to be the two readers, you and Kenny.
God damn it. And I'm sure he would have read it better because,
Well, he did the long one. You would have done the Browning, which is something I wrote down.
I love Browning, dude.
Yeah, Robert Browning. I wrote this quote down years ago in college in a notebook, and I always to kind of go back to it. So I told Emily when we were thinking about, because people always read some bullshit from the Bible and all this shit. It's the same goddamn thing and whatever. Now, the guy who married us, I guess it was a Presbyterian church, right? The minister, he said, well,
But you
it'd be
ain't got to
nice.
be a Presbyterian. It's just.
No, no, I'm just saying he did say, oh, he was like he wasn't some like hardcore guy. He was not he wasn't like very traditional. He was open to things and he was a younger guy. So it wasn't like, oh, it's got to be this, this strict. He was very open. So he said it'd be nice if you could throw a Bible verse in there. So I picked, of course, something from Psalms, which is like the most
Yes.
poetic stuff of the Bible.
It's
So I
just
found some.
songs from Psalms, man.
Yeah. So I picked something from Psalms and then we wanted some, like some quotes, we're thinking poetry, whatnot. And so I told Emily, I said, look, there's this one quote I've gone back to that makes me think of two people together, Robert Browning. And as you know, Elizabeth Barrett Browning and Robert Browning, two of the ugliest motherfuckers in English literature, had the most torrid love affair,
Right?
you know?
It would have
So,
been
and it's only like 4 lines, but it's very powerful. So that was that. And then the thing that Kenny read was a Frank O'Connor or Frank O'Hara poem. It's called
oh,
Having a
okay.
Cook.
O'Connor. I'd never heard of Frank
Yeah,
O'Connor,
sorry.
so
Yeah,
that's why.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm mixing up my Irish. So it's Frank O'Hara, the gay poet from New York from the 1950s. And he's got this poem called Having a Coke with You. And so that's kind of a long one. And we asked Kenny if he would read it. He's like, oh man, he fucking knew the poem. He's like, oh, I fucking love that poem. He said, man, oh yeah, man, I'd love to do it. I was like, all right, cool, man. So yeah.
And
But sorry, that's all to say. The people that got the flask and all that were the groomsmen, and then you and Kenny being the speakers. You know what I mean?
yeah, damn it.
So that was that. But yeah, my idea was like to have like you, Jonathan, Scott, Dennis. You know what I mean? Like having all the faux fry up there and whatnot. But then Emily's
You
like,
know, Michael
oh,
Smith and
yeah,
all of his
yeah,
kids.
yeah, yeah, I know all his kids. And then actually, then there's one who just shows up that he doesn't know about in the back, and the kid objects to the wedding, but they're like, no,
Daddy,
I'm not objecting to the
Daddy.
wedding. I'm objecting to not being recognized as the one of the sires of Michael Smith.
Wouldn't have been great if you would have
But
like as far as a poet thing is like, and up next, to read Samuel Taylor Coleridge's Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Here's what not to do when a bird shits on you. The albatross. Anyway, shut up, Spike.
yeah, yeah, man. It's funny because I've said before, I was like, man, Michael Smith's like the stereotype of a black man. If I told you the story, you think it was a black dude, but no,
Yeah.
it's a fucking white guy. It's like, all right,
It's
he
like
fucking,
he's not taking care of any of his kids.
he knocked
Grandmama's
up.
taking care of them kids.
Although to his credit, the first one he got tricked. His girlfriend got off birth control for a month, but did not inform him, so that's not on him.
Yeah.
Uh, and then he didn't really take care of that kid until like now that his son he has given a career to, right? That's the guy who helps him run the business. So, but
Yeah.
then he got married and had another kid, is the one he raised, his daughter. But what happened was between the first kid and what he thought was his last kid was a one in the middle from Nashville. He fucked this Costa Rican chick, knocked her up. He fucked her one time without a condom. Blew one, and he's told me, he's like, man, I had a fucking condom, dude. And what blows my mind is who the fuck doesn't pull out? Who the fuck doesn't pull out? Do you know how many times I've pulled out in my life? And it's been
That
a
is
100% effective. It has been 100% effective. It's not like I fucked every chick without a condom.
the rhythm method is the best method.
Dude, I have pulled out so many times. I mean, look,
How many
Emily got
belly
all,
buttons? How many
oh,
belly buttons have you had to clean up? Well, not you, but
dude, I've blown it all over the place. And it's a good day when you shoot it over their head.
oh,
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I,
woo!
yeah.
That's Olympian status right there. I feel like Carl Lewis in this motherfucker.
All right,
They
dude.
call that the triple cum jump.
I can't believe that we've also done about another 30 minutes, but
Oh
I'm
shit.
gonna I'm gonna close it out on this, man. But holy shit, this has been a delight, and
Oh yeah, I love it, man.
I prefer this kind of shit. This is the kind of conversation I want to have with my friends, one on one and shit. And you never know where it's going to, but anyway, I love you, boy.
Love you,
I do.
man.
And
Yes, sir.
yeah, how the
I want
fuck? Oh, I never got around to asking when or how the fuck we met, and we never even got to the point or the fact that I am the porno bandit.
Hey, that was Thanksgiving.
That was at Thanksgiving.
Yes,
The
and that crossed
Thanksgiving
my
where I
mind.
cheated. The only time I've ever cheated on a girl, which was a
Yep,
kiss, which was
yep,
Hollis.
yep.
And then
All
the only time I've ever let like randomly put on a voicemail is like, oh, what's Eddie? Let me put it on speaker. And Eddie's like, oh, you remember that time down there? Like, boop.
yeah, that's the
Hey,
best,
all of
dude.
that was on me, man. Every bit of it was my fault.
Well, it started because those Ohio chicks were talking about some dirty blues and they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about.
Hell
And that
yeah.
and next thing you know, and that's when you introduced me to Elmore James on the jukebox.
Oh, the shit, man.
And
The shit.
also Van Morrison used to go to Lakeside Lounge before a gig and listen to songs on that jukebox because it was the best jukebox in the city. I read that in an
I tell you
article.
what, man, that
Fact.
Thanksgiving really was. I know I kept you up late all those days, but that Thanksgiving really was kind of cool because um, they locked the doors and it was just the four of us, and we're
You damn
listening to
right.
fucking tunes, and then we're just like
Oh, it's
groping and
great.
making out, and
Oh
just
yeah.
it was
That
it
that
was
was
fucking awesome.
It was fucking epic fucking night. Let's
Thanksgiving Eve, man, that's what it was.
oh it was that when I finally didn't have to work the next day.
Yeah.
And the thing
And
is,
then
I
we,
invited those chicks over and they said, "Oh no." And the thing is, I should have just said, "Let's go to your place." And
yeah.
that
But
was
your
before.
place was like 2 blocks
Yeah, I
catty
know.
corner.
Yeah, they probably didn't want to or whatever, but I was just like, "Oh, let's go." I should have said, "Well, we'll go with you." But
Yeah.
you know what? That was before Uber and shit, you know.
And then also that particular Thanksgiving, Jesus, now the more I think about it, it was the greatest Thanksgiving ever. Uh, I was about to take a shower, and then your neighbors across the street in the fishbowl started doing some crazy stuff. I won't go into that at all.
Yeah.
And with that, Eddie, I love you, dude. And I
Love
can't
you.
wait to see you in person
Woo.
soon. All right.
Yes, sir. Love you, man.
Love you too, boy. All right. Later.